Today I'm going to follow up on the option of upgrading my stereo in my stock 1953 Chrysler. The car came from the factory with an AM radio installed, and AM radio these days is not the greatest. There's one channel in my town, and I can't seem to find anything decent to listen to music-wise on there. And there's a lot of talk on the channel, of course, and news. That's about it. So this car is still stock condition, as I mentioned. It's running a 6-volt system, positive ground, generator, regulator. I didn't really want to cut it up and install a humping stereo. I didn't want to put speakers in the back here. Just, I don't know, it just doesn't work for the vintage car for me. So I found an option. I'll show it to you. There's the stock 6-volt radio, and my speaker's right behind here. It's a single mono speaker. The radio is tube, and I rebuilt it and it works. But I wanted the option to be able to play modern music. Bluetooth through my iPhone sounded like a great idea. But how would I make that work? I'll tell you. So, mono speaker, I think it's not quite a 6x9, it's a little bit smaller. Maybe it's like, I don't know, 4x7 or something like that. I bought this little device on eBay, and I set it in my glove box, but you can put it anywhere in the car if you want. It's not big at all. This is a power amplifier, and it's stereo, 50 watt times 2. There's multiple options on these. All you've really got to, there's different types. All you've really got to do is plug in 2 speakers and power. And this will run on anything from 5 volts to 24 volts DC power. And it's got a volume knob. So all you really need to do is to wire it up to ignition source. That's what I did. Set the volume to a reasonable level. Don't crank it too loud. I find if you turn it up too high and you overload it, it'll reset. It's got a built-in 50 watt amplifier times 2, so stereo, 50 watts per side, and speaker hookups. Well, you can buy more fancy versions of this. You can get them with a sub out or 100 watt version or whatever you want, with built-in treble middle bass if you want. You don't really need it. I'll show you why. So I just wired that up to my car and leave it in the glove box. Now I've got my phone with all my music on it sitting right here on the seat, so it could be in your pocket. As soon as I turn on the key, it's going to automatically connect the Bluetooth to that device in the glove box. Just listen for it. I'll turn the key on. Sorry. There it is. Powered up. It's connected. The phone is ready to go. So my system is 6 volt. Works no problem. This will, like I said, run from 5 to 24 volts. Positive ground. Electricity doesn't really care which direction it's hooked up. It's going to work. You just got to put the negative wire on there to the power source, which in this case is it's coming from the negative terminal on my battery. It's ready to go. I've got an app on my phone called Spotify. I pay a subscription fee, and I can get, I'm not going to promote Spotify. You can use whatever. You can use Apple iTunes if you want, or just scan your own music and put it on your phone. It allows me to set up set lists and have thousands and thousands of songs on these phones. And I get in my car now, it's playing mono through the stereo here. I can't play a song very long because YouTube will block my video because it's a copyright infringement, but I'll give you some examples. It sounds fine. It sounds like an AM radio, but with modern music. You could hook up stereo speakers if you wanted to. I've heard of people getting a couple of 2 smaller speakers and mounting them in behind the grill so you have full stereo. You might want to hide speakers somewhere else. I'm sure there's options. You don't have to put this in the glove box. You could wire it up underneath the dash and just fasten it up there somehow, maybe with some zip strips or something, and hide it up there. I just laid it there because I just installed it and I wanted to try it. So my car looks stock, and I'm driving around now. I can enjoy decent music that I want to hear. One other thing you may want to know is when you're using the Spotify app or other similar apps on your phone, when you get into the settings, there is a function in the playback setting for an equalizer. So here you can see I can adjust my EQ. So I have treble, middle, bass, whatever I need to make it sound good with the speaker in my car. So volume is here on the side of my phone. You control the volume, control your EQ. Now, you're not supposed to be using your phone driving, so I don't recommend that. Set up your EQ, leave it alone, set the volume on that, leave it in the car. Like I said, this is hooked up to the ignition switch, and it functions well. I wired it to the stock speaker. Now, the tube radio, in my example, is no longer hooked up to the stock speaker. I removed it because I wired the speaker to my Bluetooth device. But you could buy a small rotary switch, or a toggle switch. You need a double position, a double throw switch. And what you could do is you could wire it up, the speaker, so it could select either the Bluetooth device or the AM radio. I could go back or forth, one to the other. Right now, I don't have one of those, and I disconnected the AM radio. So there you go. There's a good option. Keep your car looking stock, enjoying modern music while you're out for a cruise. Or hey, maybe you want to make a set list from 1953, so it feels like you're back driving the old car in the old days. You can do that. Have a good one.